In a dimly lit room of the Pinewood group home, the air felt heavy with the scent of antiseptic and the distant echoes of children's laughter. A sound of always seemed to mock the emptiness in Lily's heart. At 12 years old, she was aware that the world was not kind to those like her, a forgotten soul in a world full of families. Her small hands brushed against the worn fabric of her faded blue blanket as she lay on her bed, staring blankly at the ceiling. Each crack and stain told a story, none of which included her. Lily's life had been a series of closed doors and unanswered questions ever since that fateful day when she lost her parents in a tragic car accident. The loss had carved deep lines of grief into her existence, leaving her to navigate through the fortress of sorrow that surrounded her. She often caught glimpses of other kids laughing and playing during the rare moments they were allowed outdoors, and she could feel her chest tighten with an overwhelming sense of isolation. It was as if there were an invisible glass wall dividing her from the warmth of connection. Today, as Lily rummaged through old books and forgotten toys in the common area, a letter slid beneath the door, a stark contrast against the chipped wooden floor. She picked it up with hesitant fingers, her heart racing as she recognized the elegant script that adorned the envelope. It was from a law firm, a name she had never encountered before, announcing the existence of a storage unit left behind by her uncle, a relative she had only heard of in passing whispers among the staff at the home. Curiosity surged within her, as if someone had cracked a window in her foggy world, allowing a breath of fresh air to sweep in. "What does it mean?" she whispered to herself, her voice barely audible. The thought of a long-lost uncle tumbled around in her mind like a new toy waiting to be explored. She had always dreamt of family, of sitting around a dinner table, sharing stories of the past, and possessing something that felt entirely hers. The idea of delving into her uncle's belongings ignited a flicker of hope that trickled through the heavy darkness of her existence. Setting the letter down, she clutched her blanket tightly, a gesture she often made when emotions threatened to overwhelm her. What would she find in that storage unit? Would there be remnants of her family's history, objects, letters, or perhaps even a window into the life her parents once shared with her? The possibilities filled her heart with anticipation, painting over the bleak strokes of abandonment that filled her days. As she pondered this unexpected inheritance, a swell of energy bubbled deep within her. The notion of exploring her family's past stirred something in her, a longing to connect and perhaps understand the choices made for her long before she ever existed. For the first time in what felt like ages, she allowed herself to dream. At that moment, she glanced around the room, her fellow residents preoccupied with their devices or lost in their own thoughts. No one else seemed aware of the life-changing opportunities sliding into her grasp. Taking a deep breath, she felt a rush of determination. This could be a chance to discover who she was and where she came from, a journey she had not dared to imagine before. With the flutter of excitement mingled with a tinge of fear, Lily stood up, her resolve strengthening. She needed to find out what lay behind that door, what secrets it held. Imagining herself as the explorer of her own story, she absorbed every bit of that letter, fueling her curiosity like never before. And if you've ever felt a yearning to uncover family secrets or find hidden connections, drop a comment below sharing your story, and make sure to subscribe for more tales of discovery, hope, and the paths that lead us back to each other. Because sometimes what seems lost can still be found. The next day, a sense of urgency washed over Lily as she woke to the morning light filtering through her window. Today was the day she would visit the storage unit, the one left behind by her long-lost uncle. After breakfast, she hurriedly gathered herself, clutching the letter tightly in her hand, anticipation buzzing through her. As she stepped off the bus in front of the storage facility, her heart raced. The small brick building stood before her, its presence hinting at secrets hidden within. With each step, she could feel the heat of excitement mixed with anxiety coursing through her veins. Inside, the air smelled of metal and dust, and the fluorescent lights overhead flickered. The receptionist, a friendly woman with auburn hair and bright eyes, noticed her apprehension and offered a warm smile. "How can I help you today?" she asked. "I have a notice for Unit 204. It belonged to my uncle," Lily replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "Sure thing," the woman said, guiding her to the small office to sign for the key. The moment Lily gripped the cool metal key, she felt an immense weight lift. This was her chance to uncover pieces of her family's past. As she followed the receptionist down the dim hallway, her heart raced. What would be inside? Would there be remnants of memories, objects that could connect her to the family she longed to know? Her mind raced with possibilities as they reached Unit 204. "Here you go. Take your time," the receptionist said, stepping back to afford Lily the privacy she needed. Lily inserted the key and tentatively pushed open the door. The musty scent of old wood and forgotten memories enveloped her as she stepped inside. Dust motes floated in the air like tiny stars caught in a twilight glow. Inside, various boxes and furniture cloaked in sheets greeted her, a forgotten world waiting to be rediscovered. Her eyes landed on a cardboard box, a little crooked and worn, its corners frayed with age. In a moment of serendipity, she spotted her father's familiar handwriting on the side, labeled Lily's Letters. Excitement surged in her chest. She quickly knelt beside the box and carefully opened it, revealing a treasure trove of letters bound together by a faded ribbon. As she peeled the ribbon away, she felt a rush of emotions. The first letter she unfolded made her breath hitch. "Dear Lily," it began, "I hope that someday you will understand why I made the decisions I did. Life can be cruel, and I wanted to protect you from that cruelty." Tears stung her eyes as she read her father's words. Each letter revealed fragments of his life, suffused with love and despair. He spoke of challenges he faced, his dreams for her, and the sacrifices he was forced to make. The familiar warmth of his love seemed to envelop her, filling the void that had lingered since her parents' death. The letters were not just words. They were glimpses into her father's heart and mind, the intricacies of a life lived in shadows. As she read, Lily started to unravel the tangled web of family dynamics, discovering names of relatives she had never known, and hidden secrets that shaped her past. With each letter, she pieced together the narrative of her father's life, igniting a desire to learn more about the choices made that left her orphaned. "I did what I thought was best for you, to keep you safe," one letter divulged, filling her with a mix of gratitude and frustration. How could he make such decisions without consulting her? Pain and longing wrestled within her, old scars reopening as her heart weighed heavy with the complexity of their situation. Fueled by a newfound sense of purpose, Lily recognized that she had to continue searching for the truth. The letters had ignited her curiosity, propelling her toward connections she never knew existed. She could not allow these unknown aspects of her family to remain hidden in shadows any longer. With determination etched across her face, she stood, clutching the letters to her chest. This was just the beginning of her quest, a journey to reclaim her family's legacy and uncover the deeper secrets that had been suppressed. As she exited the unit, she turned back to the receptionist, her heart racing. "I'll be back often," she said, feeling the weight of her discovery foster a sense of responsibility toward understanding her family's history. "Good luck, kid," the woman replied, appreciating the fire that had ignited in her eyes. With every step outside, Lily felt lighter and more emboldened. She would not let fear or uncertainty dictate her life any longer. Today marked the beginning of a new chapter, one filled with the promise of discovery, where the pieces of her past could finally start to connect and illuminate the path ahead. The following week unfolded with bursts of anticipation for Lily. Each day spent at the storage unit transformed her understanding of family, as the letters revealed a web of connections she had never fathomed. Discovering the names and faces tied to her lineage combined elements of excitement and frustration. What could have been different had she known them? One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Lily sifted through the contents of a box and stumbled upon a letter addressed to her. The messy handwriting belonged to her uncle, the one who had left her the storage unit. "To whom it may concern," it began, "if you're reading this, I am no longer with you. Seek the truth that lies within the house at Pine Hollow." Her heart raced. Pine Hollow, her father's home from childhood. Could it conceal hidden truths about her family's past? Cloaked in trepidation, yet propelled by curiosity, Lily decided that she had to visit Pine Hollow and unveil whatever secrets lay hidden within those walls. The next morning, she packed her trusty flashlight, the old diary she'd uncovered, and a notebook for notes. The thought of exploring her father's childhood home both excited and terrified her, but she was determined to know her family's story. Upon arriving at Pine Hollow, the house stood shrouded in an eerie stillness, its cracked facade whispering secrets locked away for far too long. Stepping onto the weathered porch, she felt the weight of history hanging in the air. The door creaked under her push, opening to reveal a dim and dusty interior. Dust motes swirled, catching beams of light streaming through grimy windows, offering glimpses of a world long past. As she walked through the empty rooms, a sense of nostalgia washed over her. Each creaky floorboard, every faded photograph, lingered with stories of love, loss, and laughter lost to time. She ran her fingers along the walls, taking in how the past merged with the present in this place her father had known so well. Eventually, Lily wandered into a library lined with bookshelves heavy with dust. Among the unkempt shelves, a small locked box caught her eye, its metal glinting under the shafts of light. Feeling an odd sense of recognition, she knelt before it and traced the family crest embossed on the top, before her heart quickened. This was a symbol from her father's letters. With deliberate care, she managed to pry it open. Inside lay a collection of photographs and documents, along with another diary. This one belonged to her uncle. Excitement surged within her as she thumbed through the pages filled with neat handwriting. It chronicled family gatherings, relationships, and the family tensions that had driven him into silence. Her breath caught when she read about long-held grievances and misunderstandings that had driven a wedge between generations. Her uncle's reflections revealed a struggle to unite the family, ultimately leading to his isolation from others. Each entry resonated with her, coupling her father's experiences with her uncle's insights. A particular entry sent shivers down her spine. Family secrets are but shadows. They thrive in silence. Her heart raced as she realized that these unspoken truths had affected her deeply, enshrouding her existence in mystery and heartbreak. As she absorbed the gravity of the documents in her hands, Lily felt a sense of purpose ignite within her. She couldn't let her family's legacy remain clouded in obscurity. Understanding the past was imperative to forging her own future. Determined to bridge the gaps that time had built, Lily closed the diary and clutched it to her chest, vowing to uncover the full story of her lineage. The passage of time might have placed barriers between her and her family, but she refused to let those barriers stand any longer. With resolve, she rose, gathering the photographs and both diaries under her arms. A flicker of hope ignited in her heart as she prepared to leave Pine Hollow. It would not just be a relic of the past. It would become a catalyst driving her forward, an anchor from which she could reclaim her family's narrative. Understanding the legacy of those who came before her would empower her to craft her own identity. And with newfound determination fueling her steps, Lily knew she would not only navigate the shadows of her family's history, but would illuminate the path to a future bound by love, acceptance, and understanding. As she stepped onto the porch and turned back to glance at the house, she felt a weight lift, an open door to the possibilities of healing that awaited her. She was ready to embrace the journey ahead and reclaim her place within a family that was waiting for her to find them. Lily returned to her foster home with the photographs and diaries clutched tightly in her arms, the late afternoon sun casting long shadows on the path, as if the world itself acknowledged her shifting reality. Every step felt as if she was walking not just on the ground, but traversing the hopes and dreams of generations past. In her heart, the excitement was palpable, but there was an underlying current of anxiety. What truths would she encounter in her quest for understanding? That evening, after dinner, Lily nestled herself in her small room, the diaries spread open before her. The familiar scent of old paper enveloped her, comforting yet intimidating as she prepared to delve deeper into the lives of her relatives. She flicked through her father's letters, weaving them together with her uncle's diary entries, creating a tapestry of thoughts and emotions that spanned decades. As she pieced together the fragments of her family's history, a troubling pattern emerged. The more she read, the clearer it became that their family relationships were fraught with pain, marked by betrayal and unspoken rules. A thread of secrecy ran through them, stitching together events that had distanced loved ones from one another. And then she found it, a line in her uncle's diary that made her heart pound in her chest. It was the day of the storm when I discovered the truth about our lineage, proof of the estrangement that led to our family breaking apart. Those words tugged at her instinctively, compelling her to seek out the details that had left her family fragmented. Unable to resist, she flipped ahead, skimming through the pages until she stumbled upon a fully detailed entry dated 3 months before her uncle's passing.
The letter arrived unexpectedly, he had written. A letter from a woman claiming to be our mother's sister, a sister we never knew existed. Lily's breath hitched. A sister? Her grandmother had a sibling? Yet it seemed this sibling had been shrouded in shadows, not mentioned in the letters or spoken of in her father's writings. Clutching the diary tightly, Lily felt the weight of her family's secrets pressing down on her. Feeling a surge of resolve, she set out to find this mysterious sister. There was no time to waste. She had to know everything about the woman who could unlock more pieces of her family's puzzle. But first, she needed to dig deeper into the letters to glean the details that could lead her to this elusive relative. Her mornings turned into routines of steady research. She spent hours poring over the letters, trying to find any mention of her grandmother's sister.
When the phone book proved fruitless, she decided to scour the internet for family records. Focusing on names, she found distant relatives that could assist her. At least she hoped they would. After a couple of days, she reached out to a relative who responded enthusiastically. "Of course I remember Aunt Clara. She lived in the small house by Oak Hill," the voice on the phone said. A wave of relief rushed over her. "She went quiet after the family feud. We didn't hear from her much after that." The woman's warmth radiated through the phone, and Lily felt a flicker of hope. "Can you give me her address?" she asked, cautious yet excited. "Of course, I'll send it over with some family history," her relative replied. Lily eagerly awaited the envelope in the mail, anxiously counting the days. Finally, when it arrived, it contained more than just Clara's address. It was a key, an entry point into understanding who she was and who her family had been. She studied the address, heart pounding with anticipation. Oak Hill was only a short bus ride away, and the moment she had a free afternoon, she set off. The closer she got, the more nervous she became. What if Clara had decided to sever all ties with the family entirely? What if the bitterness of the past had left a scar too deep to heal? Her arrival was almost cinematic as the sun cast golden rays over the green hills. Clara's house was a quaint, rustic structure adorned with wildflowers. As she stood before the door, she hesitated, heart racing with both excitement and anxiety. Gathering her breath, she knocked gently. "Coming!" a voice called from inside, and before she could prepare herself, the door swung open. The woman who stood before her had visibly aged, but her eyes, sharp and searching, were unmistakably welcoming. The surprising warmth in her smile dimmed Lily's apprehension. "Can I help you?" Clara asked, tilting her head slightly. "Are you Aunt Clara Bowers?" Lily asked cautiously, her voice trembling. "Yes, I am. And who might you be?" Clara's expression shifted to curiosity, her brow arching slightly. "I'm Lily Lane." She hesitated for a moment. "Your niece." Clara's expression faltered, suspicion flickering across her features before surprise washed over her. "My niece? How can that be?" "It's complicated," Lily began, glancing down at her trembling hands. "I found some letters and diaries belonging to my father and uncle, and they mentioned you. I wanted to understand our family better. There are secrets, things that need to be spoken about." Clara stepped back, ushering Lily inside. The warmth and smell of freshly brewed tea embraced her, inviting her to settle down at the table. As they sat face to face, Clara's demeanor softened, curiosity eclipsing the remnants of skepticism. The moment felt momentous. They were two branches of the same tree, woven together by anomalies of fate. "You have questions?" Clara finally asked, her voice softer, imbued with a motherly quality. "Yes," Lily replied, determination illuminating her heart. "I want to know the truth, about our family, the estrangement, everything." Clara sighed deeply, as if releasing the burdens she had carried for so long. "The past is heavy, dear," she began, her voice a melodic whisper. "But it's important to understand how we got here if we wish to mend the heart of our family." Tears welled in Lily's eyes as she settled in, prepared to hear the truths that had waited far too long to be shared. She understood this conversation would be a watershed moment, a turning point for her and her family. There was vulnerability in the air, woven with hope. They both knew they stood on the precipice of a pivotal revelation, one that could heal the wounds of the past and reforge the bonds that once united them. Clara looked at her thoughtfully, her voice steady and inviting. "Let's begin with your grandmother and the choices that shaped everything thereafter." Clara took a deep breath, her gaze wandering toward the window as if searching the past for clarity. "Your grandmother, Isabel, was a strong woman," she began, her voice mixing reverence and sorrow. "But with strength came conflict. The expectations placed upon her were immense." Lily leaned closer, her heart quickening. "Expectations? What kind?" "Family loyalty and duty above all else, especially when it came to secrets. Isabel believed safeguarding those secrets was her obligation," Clara explained, her fingers tapping nervously on the table. "It was love that made her choices, but it ultimately led to a cascade of darkness, choices that imprisoned us." "What choice?" Lily pressed, the urgency palpable in her voice. Clara closed her eyes briefly, as if bracing for the weight of revelation. "Your grandfather, Walter, was not just any man. He was embroiled in a scandal that shattered our family's name. Rumors of betrayal and financial deception tainted everything. Your grandmother chose to silence the world, rather than confront the truth." A shockwave rattled through Lily, reshaping her understanding of the past. "What exactly did he do?" she asked, her voice now fraught with confusion and incredulity. "Walter's actions created a rift that echoed through generations. It wasn't merely about him, it was inclusive of the choices made in that tumultuous time," Clara explained. "The fallout drove a wedge between family members, isolating Isabel as she raised her children in an atmosphere thick with shame and distrust." Lily felt anger simmer within her, a blend of empathy for Isabel and disappointment in Walter. "So my father, too, played a part in this?" "Yes, because when Isabel passed, your father chose silence. He believed he was protecting you," Clara replied softly. "In keeping things hidden, he perpetuated the cycle of secrecy." "Why didn't anyone speak out?" Lily's frustration bubbled over, tears welling in her eyes. "Why let the darkness linger?" "It's complicated," Clara said gently. Sometimes, the fear of confronting pain is stronger than the pain itself. Isabel believed she was protecting her children from the past. The absence of support made it easier to hide. At that moment, Lily recognized Clara's pain mirrored her own. And you? What happened to you? Clara's face hardened, a mix of regret and sorrow clouding her features. As a child, I was fueled by loyalty to my sister. Yet, as the years passed, the silence grew heavier. I retreated, believing it was best to create distance from the hurt. Understanding sparked within Lily, a yearning for healing, their family narrative still up for reclamation. So, to heal, we must face it together. But what if others resist? What if they refuse to connect? Clara looked at her intently. Some may fight against it, dear, but those committed to healing will find their way. Taking Clara's words to heart, Lily felt determined. Breaking the cycle of silence was essential, armed with the knowledge she had unearthed. I want to rewrite our history. We need to bring family together, stitch the wounds that have festered too long, Lily declared, her voice steady. Yes, Clara replied, her eyes shining with pride and encouragement. It's time we reach out to others. Together, we can embark on a journey to restore what was lost. As Clara continued, their thoughts turned to the relatives who had distanced themselves. I can help, Clara offered, her voice now unwavering. There's a fragile bond waiting to be mended. Lily nodded, overwhelmed yet inspired. But how do we start? We gather insights from the past, bring together those willing to confront their truths. We can find the courage to share stories, every tear and laugh, Clara said. Together, we can construct a legacy that honors the experience of those who came before. With renewed resolve, Lily felt ready to embrace the challenge ahead. She pulled out her notebook, writing down everyone they could contact. I'll reach out to relatives who could join us in gathering our family history, she said, her heart racing with excitement. As they strategized, Lily's mind wandered. Would she be brave enough to confront those who had remained silent? And would Clara's presence provide the support needed to navigate family dynamics wrought with years of silence and estrangement? Remember, Clara interjected, sensing Lily's hesitation, not everyone will be receptive. But we are planting seeds of understanding, hoping they take root in the heart of our family. With resolve washing over her, Lily recounted words from her uncle's diary. Your truth can heal the fractures formed by inaction. I've realized secrets thrive in darkness, but the light of communication will bring clarity. Clara's gaze softened, her eyes glinting with pride. Yes, we can reorder the legacy, Lily. Change won't come overnight, but with each story shared, we push against the darkness. As Lily gathered her things to leave, she couldn't shake the feeling of hope and possibility enveloping her. The portrait of family transformed. The lines once formed by estrangement, now pulsing with potential, waiting to bloom into awareness. Thank you, Clara. I believe we have the power to change this. Lily gazed at her newfound ally, feeling the warmth of kinship between them. You have the strength to carry the weight of our history. Let's begin, Clara replied, her voice steady with determination. As she stepped onto the porch, a heady combination of excitement and anxiety surged within Lily. The fragile threads of understanding had begun to weave together, drawing her family closer. Still, the path ahead was laden with uncertainties. What might the others say? Would they accept this journey toward reconnection? But deep down, she recognized this was merely the first chapter in a larger, beautiful tapestry waiting to be crafted. In the brisk air, she felt invigorated, ready to navigate the challenges ahead, armed with her voice, her resolve, and the belief that together they could heal the wounds that had festered in silence. The future felt promising, like dawn breaking after a long, dark night. Lily's excitement surged as she returned home, mixed with a growing anxiety. She had expanded her reach, sending emails to family members with an earnest plea for connection. Each message held the hope of rekindling lost relationships, yet doubt lingered. Would they respond? Would they care enough to engage? Sitting at her desk, she spread out the photographs and diaries, each piece holding whispers of the family history she was desperate to understand. The dim glow of her lamp illuminated the space, creating a cocoon of warmth against the chill of uncertainty outside. With every keystroke, Lily felt a blend of hope and fear. What if her inquiries fell silent, echoing into a void? Days turned into a mix of anticipation and disappointment as responses trickled in. Some replies were encouraging, while others felt dismissive or evasive. The words, "I'm busy" and "not interested" struck sour chords, each one a reminder of the strained ties holding their family hostage. But on a misty Wednesday morning, her phone buzzed unexpectedly. A message flashed from Aunt Ruth. "I'd like to talk." Relief washed over Lily, an exhilaration sparking within. They arranged a call for that evening, and Lily prepared herself to open the door to the past. When Ruth answered, her voice was tentative yet warm. "Lily?" It offered a bridge between past and present, two branches of the same family tree. "Yes, Aunt Ruth, thank you for reaching out," Lily replied, her heart racing. "It's been so long since we've connected," Ruth mused. With each shared memory, they found common ground, a reminder of bonds previously strained. When the topic shifted to family estrangement, Lily seized the opportunity. "I believe it's time we start healing. I want to bring everyone together. I found notes in the family diaries. There are truths worth reclaiming," she said, her determination firm. Ruth took a while to respond, hesitation evident in her voice. "Those truths can be painful to face." "What if we find things we're not ready to confront?" Lily's resolve only strengthened. "Confronting them is the only way to heal. We owe it to our lineage to explore this together." "I admire your courage," Ruth said, her tone softening. "We can start by gathering the family, but honesty and openness are crucial." "Absolutely. I'll reach out again, but I know it'll be difficult," Lily acknowledged, her heart racing with anticipation. They agreed to meet in person, which buoyed Lily's spirits even more. She had ignited a flicker of hope in Ruth, and now it felt within reach, the doorway to family connectedness slowly opening. The morning of their meet was bright, an optimistic sun shining through the clouds. Arriving at the family diner, where generations once gathered, Lily felt a surge of nostalgia. The air was rich with the smell of coffee and baked goods, evoking memories of warmth. As Ruth stepped in, their eyes locked, and a mutual understanding flickered, no words needed. They chose a quiet booth, an intimate space for their exploration. "Thank you for coming," Lily opened, settling into the increasing gravity of their conversation. "Thank you for extending the olive branch," Ruth replied gratefully. "You share your grandmother's fire. It makes me hopeful." "Can we address the past she tried to keep hidden?" Lily asked, her voice unwavering. Ruth nodded, her gaze serious. "Let's unravel the truths we've avoided. Each family story carries both grief and joy." As they shared stories, Lily felt the weight of the past lifting slightly, revealing threads that wove together their family's history. They spoke of celebrations marred by silence and the shadows that kept them from connecting. Ruth's voice broke the silence that hung like a fragile mist. "Your willingness to reach out could lead us toward healing. Together, we have to gather everyone willing to face the past," Lily suggested, her determination renewed. "Yes, let's organize a family meeting. If you can engage the others, I'll do everything I can to help us break through this wall of silence," Ruth agreed, her eyes brightening at the shared dream. With their plan in place, a newfound courage stirred within Lily. The walls dividing their family began to feel more like hurdles instead of insurmountable barriers. Each small confession, every shared tear, opened channels for love, threads of reconnection woven in the fabric of their lives. As they prepared to leave, Lily felt the weight of their promise settling between them, one of commitment not just to uncover the truth, but to embrace it together. Each step into the future brought with it the thrill of possibility and the resolve to face whatever lay ahead. "This isn't just about wounds, it's about healing and cherishing our connections," Ruth said, fit to the theme of their emerging agreement. "I'm ready to weave a new narrative that honors our collective histories," Lily affirmed, excitement bubbling inside her. As they exited the diner, the sun bathed them in warmth, illuminating the path forward. Together, they took the first steps toward bringing their family's legacy under the light, readying themselves to navigate the many complexities that lay ahead. Through the haze of uncertainty, hope blossomed. They didn't just embark on a quest for understanding, they cultivated a shared commitment to healing and connection. With the promise of storytelling wrapped in their hearts, Lily knew they could forge a future molded by love and resilience, a future where family ties emerged stronger than before. As the days turned into weeks, the anticipation surrounding the family meeting simmered with both excitement and anxiety for Lily. She was determined to foster connections that had long been buried, knowing the path ahead wouldn't be easy. Each day was consumed by preparations, reaching out to distant relatives, crafting warm invitations, and gathering thoughts about what she wanted to convey. She envisioned the moment they would all come together, sharing warmth and stories instead of silence. On the day of the meeting, Lily arrived at the community center. The room buzzed with tangible electricity, anticipation humming as relatives began to file in. The sunlight poured through the windows, illuminating the tables decorated with fresh flowers and name tags, creating an inviting atmosphere. With a flutter in her chest, Lily noticed familiar faces among the sea of family. Moments of recognition flickered across the room as smiles exchanged stories of nostalgia. As more guests arrived, Lily felt her heart race, fueled by the thought of resurrecting their shared history. When the time came for her to speak, she stood with determination and courage. "Thank you all for being here today. I know getting together like this isn't easy, but it is necessary," she began, her voice steadying with each word. "We're here to confront the past and reshape our future as a family." As she shared her vision of exploring their history, a wave of affirmation rippled through the room. Encouraged, she invited anyone who wanted to share their thoughts or experiences to come forward. Aunt Ruth rose first, her voice filled with emotion. "Many of you might know about Isabel," she said, her gaze sweeping the room. "She loved fiercely, but carried burdens that drove us apart. It's time we remember her story, the mistakes she made, and the love she gave." As Ruth spoke, others joined in, recounting their own encounters with Isabel and unveiling the fractures that had formed within the family. Each story wove together a tapestry of shared experiences, illustrating both joy and sorrow. With stories flowing freely, it became clear that the meeting had transformed into a space of healing. Lily felt an overwhelming appreciation for the courage being displayed around her. Acknowledgments of pain turned into expressions of forgiveness and longing for connection. A cousin who had spent years estranged opened up about his feelings of regret. "I distanced myself, thinking I would escape the hurt, but it only isolated me more. I want to reconnect," he voiced, vulnerability evident in his words. As voices grew louder and stories intermingled, Lily realized the impact of this gathering. They weren't just recounting memories. They were forging bonds, embracing each other, and recognizing the collective strength they shared as a family. As the meeting neared its close, Lily stood up for one final moment. "Thank you all for embracing this journey with me. Today wasn't just about revisiting pain. It was about healing and hope. We are not defined by our secrets or our hurts, but by our ability to come together." A chorus of agreement filled the room, and as relatives began to exchange smiles and embraces, Lily felt renewed energy coursing through her. They were no longer simply holding on to their past. They were stepping into a shared future. Walking out into the fresh air, Lily was met with the sunlight shining brightly overhead, illuminating a new chapter brimming with possibilities. Each step taken from that point forward was imbued with unity, commitment, and love, a promise to one another that they would not let silence define their legacy again. In this moment, Lily knew that their efforts healed fractured relationships and fostered connections that would thrive for generations to come. Together, they would carry the stories of their family, honoring the past while building a future woven with resilience and strength. Stepping into the unknown, a sense of freedom washed over Lily. She had illuminated the threads that bound them together, and with each heartbeat, she felt their family legacy growing stronger, transformed into a rich tapestry of courage, connection, and love.